Only 8 students. Can I start?
I
Okay, we are discussing about the network address. So network address is two types. One is IP address and another one is MAC address. IP address again two types, IPv4 and IPv6. Then IPv4 have five classes and IPv4 have two schemes. One is classful and one is classless. So we were discussing about the classful addressing. Am I audible? We're discussing about classful addressing, and in classful addressing there is five class: class A, B, C, D, E. Class A, B, C is we're going to use for practical purpose, and class D and E is for some special purpose. Class D is for multicasting, and class E is for experimental purpose. Okay, and a class an IPv4 is the address divided into two person. One is network ID person, and another one is host ID person. Okay, so as we discussed in the last class, the class A, the first byte or first octet of a class A is network ID, and the rest of the 24 bit is for host ID. For a class B, to a 16 bit is for network ID, 16 is 16 bit is for host ID. Class C, 24 bit is for network ID, and 8 bit is for host ID. And class D, as you know, is used for multicasting. Multicasting is nothing but one user and one sender and a specific numbers of users or receivers. And class E is reserved. It is not going to be used in the practical purpose. Okay. Hope this slide is clear in the last class itself. So if we move the next slide. So that was the last discussion in the last class. We was discussing at the time the range of IPv4 address. Okay. Hope all join. Am I audible clearly?
uh, Sure.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me this is belongs to which class? Okay, this is IP address, right? 192. Okay, this is IP address 192.168.2.3. If I ask you this IP belongs to which class of IP report, write in the chat box or you may say
Let's see.
class C. How we can say class C? Because the range of class C is what? Okay, you are not audible properly. Okay, let's discuss again those vans. So these are the vans 1 to 126. In some book you may get it is 0 to 127. That is same thing. 0 as a first octet we cannot use for host. So we have to use the first IP address is 1. So that's why I'm writing here 1 to 126. Okay, now tell me, now tell me 0.2.4.2.1. Now tell me this is the not this one. This IPS belongs to which class?
A.
Okay. I want more answer. This IPS belongs to which class? I'm waiting for more response. This IPS belongs to which class? Okay, some are writing A. Anyone who think this is not A is right or speak. Maximum of you writing A. Is there anyone who is not agree with them? Those who are writing A. Is there anyone in the class who think this is not class A address? No one? That means all are agree. But according to me, this is not a valid IP address. Why? A IP address cannot start with 0 in the decimal. If you represent it is in the decimal format, the first octet value must be something, not 0. See here you can see this is 0 I am writing. But in the range you can see it is 1. Okay? That means if you want to
Sir,
give
yes, sir.
if you want to give this IP address to somebody, some PC, there should be some numerical value, not 0. But if when I say this is 1, this may be 0, that is right. This can be a, this is now class A address, 1.0.2.1. It is class A address. Yes, तुम लोग का नेटवर्किंग का क्लास हो रहा है कि नहीं? नेटवर्किंग सब्जेक्ट क्लासेस
सर
करना।
अभी अभी हो रहा है।
ओके, तो क्या पढ़ा रहा है? Which topic was discussing? टॉपिक याद है? नेटवर्किंग में क्या पढ़ रहा है? These both subjects are similar, right? Application layer. Is there we are discussing about USL layer or TCP? Okay, so this is a class A address because the first octet is 1. When I change it 127, now tell me, is it a class A address? Write in the chat box or you can speak whatever you want. Is it a class A address?
सर
Yes, no. Is it a class A address? No, no, yes. Okay, here both of you are correct. Those who are writing no also correct. Those who are writing yes also correct. Not 1 to 128, 1 to 127. The range of class A actually 1 to 127, but this range we are writing that 1 to 127, last one, that means 127, you cannot assign to any host in a network. That's why I'm excluding 127 on the trans. That means practically you cannot keep this IP address 1 to 127 to any computers in the network. It is reserved for some other purpose. In the next slide, we'll discuss that one. Okay. So actual range is 1 to 127. So 1 to 127. Sorry, it is it's 1 to 127, but 127 is used for some other purpose that is reserved for something else. That's why I'm excluding in the range of class A 1 to 127. That means I'm excluding 127. That means 1 to 126 is the range of class A address. Okay. And now the concept of binaries have to be there in the next discussion. So, how you remember these things for whole life? It is not easy to remember these digits for 5 years, 2 years, 3 years. So maybe in the next semester you will forget. For exam purpose, you may by heart, but after the exam, it is not easy to remember the ranks. I also forgot. Not all the time I remember these ranks. But there is a technique so that you can remember the range of IP address. So what is the technique? Okay, as you remember, IP address can be represented in 32 bits number, and each and this 32 bits number again divided into 4 octets, 8888. Okay, if a IP address is starting with 0 in I'm talking about the binary in representation. There is two representation. One is decimal and another is binary. So now I am discussing the binary one. If in a binary IP address, binary representation IP address, the starting bit is 0 and rest of the 7 bit, how many? 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Yes. Now tell me what is the value in decimal? This one. What is the value in decimal? This number. Tell me. Write in the search box. 0 and 7 1. What is the value in by decimal? Thank you. Times. Write in the search box. What is the value in decimal? Munni Prastuti, I think 127. And else. Okay, some of you write 127. Four of you, or six, repeating the three of you write or four. That's okay. So some of you write 127. Okay, that means this is the last range. You can say now a class A address in is always started with has bit 0. If a IP address have has bit 0 without any hesitation, you can say it is a class A address. Remember these things. If a IP address, I'm talking about the first octet. Remember, I'm talking about the first octet. The first octet of a IP address starting with 0 without anything, without any hesitation, you can say it is a class A address. Okay. Now, can you tell me if I write here 1, suppose here I am writing 0. Now, tell me this is which class address? I am writing the first octet. There are some others also. Uh, now, tell me which class IP address this one? Write in the chat box first, but do first. Class A. Obviously, because the first octet have or starting with 0. Okay. If I send this bit now you cannot say which class. As of now, later on you can say that also. Now 710 and then rest of the bits you cannot say which class it is. Okay. The range, how will you remember now? The range, the easy way to remember, make it the first bit 0 and rest 7 bit 1. That is the last option. And what is the value? That is the last range of that class A address. And you have to remember the first address is always 1, 1, 2. That means 1, 2, 1 is always this 7. Okay, this is the first address and this is the last address of class A. But this is 127. I already mentioned you. I told you that 127 you cannot use for host. Okay, that means your last address will be 126. Okay, so now what is the next class? Class B. And what is the next starting address of class B? What is the starting address of class B? Already you know the starting address of class, last address of class A is 127. Though 127 is not used, but the starting address of class B obviously 128. You're right. Okay? So 128 you have to convert in binary letter, use convert it. And what is the last range of this class B? I tell you without any hesitation 10661. Now, if you convert this in decimal, convert it first 1061. That is the last range of class B. Starting you know already because you know the last address of class A. Start. So obviously, starting address of class B is 128. The question is, what is the last range of class B? Convert it into decimal. Tell me what is the value. Write in the chat box. Not maybe, it's 100% of right. Tell me 100%, not maybe. Convert it into binary or decimal. Yes, most of you right. That is 191. That means I can say a class B address. I'm talking about the first octet. The first octet of a class B address is always 10. That is fixed. This two value is fixed. These two value. I'm talking about these two value. Earlier, in class A, 0 then 7 is the last match. That 0 is fixed that time. The past A class A is always started with 0. A class B is always started with 10. Is it clear? That means the range of class B is 128 to 191. What you have to remember? You have to remember a class A is starting with 0. Make all other bits 1. Convert it to decimal. That is the last range. The next address will be the starting address of class B. That means 128. And how we find out the last address of the branch? We have to remember a class B is always starting with 10. 10. So why one does not belong to any class? Okay, this belongs to class A. If somebody asks you 127 dot something something is which class, you have to say class A. In the next slide, I'll show you. This is reserved for local host. I'll tell you what is local host. Wait for some minutes. Today itself I will tell you. Okay, 127. This belongs to class A only. Though we are not used for practical in the networks, but that address is used for some other purpose. That's a visa. You can say it is a visa for something. तो हम लोग का कैंटीन में अगर कोई वीआईपी आ गया तो क्या होता है, कोई टेबल रिजर्व करके रखता है, वो टेबल तो कैंटीन का ही है, लेकिन we are reserving that table for some special guests like that. You can think. So we are reserving 127 for some special purpose. So it is belongs to class A. Is it clear? That is the last range of class B is 10,6. That means that is what? 191. Now tell me what is the hash address of class C? Write in the chat box. Do fast. What is the hash? Yes, obviously. So hash is the big question is what is the last hash we can say, because we know the last address of class B. So hash easily we can say 192. Now if you not remember you cannot say the last range. So how will say those who are writing 223, or you have already remember the range. But I'm showing you the techniques without remembering how we can find out. Okay. So for that, if you write 10051, okay. Now tell me what is the value in decimal? 10051. Write fast. What is the value in decimal? This number. At 157, 59. Not that is not correct. Do it properly. 100 then 51. Is it 159? No. Calculate. That is the answer. Calculate 1 plus 2 plus 4, 8, 16, 32 plus 120. And tell me what is this? What is the value? Add this number and tell me what is the value. How you got 159? Recalculate. 128 plus 32 is what? Plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. No, 191. How 160? Calculate this. I am writing this number, these things. You calculate. Calculate this. So I think also to know addition, right? 191. Sure. Now convert 223 into binary. Convert this 223. 223. Convert it binary in 8-bit notation. Convert 223 in binary. Then me what is the value? I did this should be 1. This bit is 24. Equal 6. 2 to the power 6 is how much? 'Calculate now. Now calculate and tell me the value. 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 64 plus 1. How much? Write in the chat box. Yes. So how you remember the last range of class C? The first 3 bit is fixed 110. 110 is the first 3 bit of a class C IP address. So the rest of the 5 bit make it 1 and calculate in decimal, and you will get the last range of class C address. Okay, and these 3 we are going to use for practical purpose, so we will not remember rest of the class. So rest of the class obviously it will start from 120 to 24, and then it will go up to 239 and 242 to 55. That is not very important, but these 3 class always you have to remember, class A, B, C. Okay, I will remember the first bit of a class A is always 0, the first 2 bit of a class B is always 10, and the first 3 bit of class C is 110. Is it clear? If yes, you write in the search box. If anybody have doubt, you can ask. This is the 3 range, last range of a class ABC. You may note down somewhere. Class A is always started with 0. Class B started with 1 0. Class C started with 1 1. These are the past octet. By watching the past octet, we can say if class is belongs to AIP this belongs to which class. This is the rule. The past rule is always class A starting with 0, class B which always started with 1 0, class C started with 1 1 0. Okay? Without any hesitation, if I write or I get this, I tell me which class it is. Which class? Write in the chat box. Fast, do fast. This IP is this belongs to which class? Yes, class C. Now which class? Now which class? Okay. Now which class? That's okay. It's hope all of you clear. So अगर doubt होगा तो just if you will get some if I write it up decimal 233 tell me which class. Which class it is? 223.4.1.6. Just convert it to this into binary and remember those rules, and you can say it is class which class? 223. 223 is which class? I'm waiting for reply. 223 which class? Yeah, I think C. So if I make it 185, 182, which class it is? If I write in 6, 2, 4, 8, 9, which class? 0, 2, 4, 8, 9, no class. Not valid, it is invalid IP address, right? Invalid IP address. So I think it is clear to you. This is very important. Is all these things, and all are you sincere student. Most of you are writing correct answer. Very good. Okay. Now I'm writing 110.6.256. Now tell me which IP address it is. Which class it is. 10.6.256.1. Some of you writing A. I want more answer. 10.6.256.1. I want to know more answer from you. Only two, three people are writing A. 4. I got only 4 answers to write. Any one of you who think this is not a valid IP address, tell me. Is there anyone who think it is not a valid IP address? No one? So if I will show you this range, what is the last value? What is the last value of IP address that day I told you? Okay, last value is 255. 255 is the last value. Within 5 minutes, your session will be over. After that, you send attendance. So the last value is 255. But in my example, I'm writing more than 255, it is 256. So it is invalid. Invalid. You cannot write more than 255. Got it? Is it clear to you, right? Yes, no? It is a invalid IP address. Those who write A, please write yes, no in the chat box. Okay. So if I write any example, you can easily now tell, you can say, right? If it is clear, you can say easily now. 111.8.9.0, which class? So what you have to remember, you cannot go beyond 255. You cannot start with 0. You cannot start with 0. You cannot go beyond 255. Yes, must be 32 bits number, not more than 32 bits, not less than 32 bits, and each octet have only 8 bits, separated with dot, and the range of class A, B, C, D, E, D, E. You have to remember because that rule will not applicable for D, E, E. You cannot find out this last range of D and E using that rule. So there, these two things you have to remember. But practically, if you remember 224 is sufficient. 224 and this one because DE not going to be used. Hope this is clear all of you. If clear, I'll stop here. Write yes, no. And if anyone doubt, you can ask within 1 minute. Okay, but still I am not getting the free slot from the seer. Who seer I don't know. But in WhatsApp, in the last week I told you I need some extra class. Still, I'm not getting that free class slot. Okay. I'm waiting for that. Hope within 1 2 days submitting the WhatsApp. Share, who's share? Can you respond? Yes, no. I won the free slot. I missed some of the class earlier. I have to cover up in the next week. Okay. So no doubt. Thanks for that. Thank you. Send attendance in the WhatsApp.